Hello everyone, my name is Cody Taylor and I am an instructor for COT 420 Enterprise Forensics. In this short video I'm going to introduce you all to the learning objectives and I'm going to cover Unit 1. The first objective we're going to cover in Unit 1, so I'll talk more about that when I switch over to the Blackboard shell. The second learning objective is to describe the need for professionalism and ethics when you're dealing with computer forensics and legal investigations. We're going to learn more about that as the course goes on, but professionalism and ethics come into play, especially if you're going to be providing evidence or testifying as an expert witness. The third objective is tied into the second as well. Describe the typical steps in a forensic investigation. This is going to be very key. We're going to learn how important it is to follow systematic steps. You have to be able to, again, show your professionalism and your ethics and that you didn't cut any corners, especially, again, when you're testifying. You want to be able to show the systematic approved steps that you took to gather evidence. The next three objectives are all related, and they're kind of centered on the operating system. So as a digital forensics investigator, you're going to have to be prepared, knowledgeable of various operating systems, whether it's Mac, Windows, Linux, an Android system. Depending on the operating system, it's going to impact the tools and techniques you use. It's also going to impact the various file formats that you're dealing with. Lastly, we're also going to do some reports in this course, and you're going to have to understand how to create an evidentiary report based on the best practices for forensics investigations. In Unit 1, we have an introduction. So here is your Blackboard shell. You'll navigate to Unit 1, and you have at the top it talks about the chapters and the objectives that you're going to read, and we have an introduction. This is a typical introduction. I'm not a stickler for the 350 words. Just do your typical introduction. It's non-graded. By Wednesday, we do have a graded discussion post. So your original discussion the original post you need to make by Wednesday. In this one, we're going to talk about the important role of digital forensics in the modern world. So this is tied into the first learning objective, and there are some bulleted objectives here or some pointers that you might want to discuss as you cover digital forensics, such as what is digital forensics, how did the field develop, are there related fields, etc. We also have two graded written assignments. In the paper, you have to write 3 to 4 pages, and we're going to discuss specific considerations if you're going to design and manage an efficient and safe forensics laboratory. There are some different things that you may want to consider, whether it's going to be an accredited lab or not, different duties of the lab manager and other staff members. Are you going to require certifications, or does your state require certifications? Which that ties into actually the report. So the report, you're going to do some research and you're going to investigate your local state or your province, and you're going to talk about licensing and certification requirements for a digital forensics examiner. So it does say that you will find that if your state or region doesn't have requirements for licensing and certifications, you need to find a region that does, do research, and that's what you're going to write your report about. So again, licensing and certification requirements for a digital forensics examiner. And this is a little bit of a shorter assignment. It's a report. Okay, so that covers the learning objectives, and there's a few other things I do want to discuss. I'm going to make a post later in the week about using your SCCAN's email. That is a requirement for me as an instructor. We are reminded that we cannot, as instructors, respond to students' private email address. We cannot discuss grades or the schedule or assignments, things like that. Those are all covered by the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. So this is why I'm going to be required to use the SCCAN's email. As with all courses, please read the syllabus. Please jump into Blackboard early so that your activity is captured, and introduce yourself as we discussed already. And of course, reach out to me anytime, early and often. So I'm always here to help. So thank you everyone for your time, and I know that once you get into this course, it's very exciting. It's very interesting content. We always have really good discussions. So I look forward to interacting with you all. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you all have a good week.